Greetings fellow ukuleleans, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. Today I'd like to talk about baritone ukulele. This is a newly acquired instrument. It is a Pono. It's made of acacia wood. Beautiful instrument. Got it from Hawaii Music Supply. I love those guys. That's where I get most of my ukuleles from. And this is a great little instrument. It's tuned differently from other ukuleles. You know, we have normal re-entrant tuning, GCEA. And that would be like soprano, and most tenors are tuned that way, although some tenors have a low G. Still, it's GCEA. Old school sopranos, you know, the kind of style that they played on soprano ukulele way back at the turn of the 19th into 20th centuries, and then 1920s, 1930s. That was tuned up a whole step. But baritone's an entirely different animal from that. These four strings being D, that's the equivalent to the open D string on a guitar, a standard tuned guitar. And then you have G, just like the open G on a guitar. You have B, just like the open B on a guitar. And finally E, just like the open high E on a guitar. So D, G, B, E. It's the highest pitched four strings of the guitar. The lowest pitched strings would be E, A, D, G. That's like how a bass is tuned, for instance. But this is D, G, B, E. So if you're a guitar player, baritone might come really natural to you. That thing I was playing in the intro, Going to California by Led Zeppelin, just my own little quick spontaneous arrangement of it. That wasn't an extensive arrangement. Maybe I'd sit down and plan that out more, but that was just off the cuff, just to play something for you on baritone. It's very guitar-like, you know. It definitely allows you to do things like a guitar. But if you have never played guitar and you're new to ukulele, but you're drawn to the baritone, it has some qualities to it that are really appealing. Number one, it's bigger, and so it might be more comfortable for some of you that don't like to handle a small instrument, something really tiny. It's got a lot of space between its frets. So that's good for those of you that have either larger fingers or just can't deal with the little tiny sopranos, you know, cramped quarters there, which sometimes can be a problem for some. And then it's also got a bigger voice, you know, it's kind of louder and it projects more. It has a much larger body. And so that's going to give you that sound, you know, bigger sound with more low mids, maybe even a little bit of bass in there. Whereas normal, you know, tenor, concert, soprano, those do not have a whole heck of a lot of bass to them. And so this definitely has that boom, that low end. So that's good. That has its appeal. And of course the neck is wider because it's, you know, wider spacing of strings. So the strings are a little further apart, a little easier to get around. So there's a lot of things appealing about baritones. Sometimes baritones come pre-strung with two wound strings, as this one does. This has a wound D, it has a wound G, and then it has a plain B and E, which can be nylon, fluorocarbon, etc. So, it's a great sound. It's really beautiful. Let's learn some really basic things. I'm not going to show you that Going to California thing. I'm not even sure I could reproduce that. That was spontaneous. But let's learn the most basic chords. So, when you put your third finger on the third fret of what now we know as is the E string, that makes a G chord. That's a really easy one-finger G chord. For those of you that play the other sizes and tunings of ukulele, you probably know that as a C chord. But if you're playing baritone, that is not a C chord. It sounds like a G chord. So G is pretty easy. From that G, maybe you could get down this chord, which is a D7. The equivalent of G7 on other ukes, but that's 0, 2, 1, 3. Those are two really nice chords to play.